The Papa Bear. That's right. Everybody's daddies, ladies, women, mamas, grandmamas, dudes, daddies. Wait a minute. Damn it. Oh, I did so. Dads, dudes, brothers, friends, and whoever the hell else. Woo! It's Papa Bear tonight. Because I got to set people straight. Put butts in ya. Oh, there's going to be some chin checking tonight, I promise. Nope, stop that. R8RBEAR! It's week 3 for crying out loud. Turning up the volume to 11 on the dial. Doggone it. I'm threatening a speaker. You son of a... Watch your language there. I think it breaks. Turning up the volume to 11. Imitated. Duplicated. Nah. That fool with the hair. That shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The R8RBEAR. R8RBEAR. That's right, one extra one for this fan base that I have to mentally spank tonight. Our season's over. I'm firing the offensive coordinator. We're on fire. The ship's going down. Titanic. It's week 3. We're on the road for a spunky little team in Burgundy. No, I still don't respect the Commanders. Next, they'll name him the Master, as though these names are less racist than the head of a cleaved off Native American. Get out of here. No politics. What's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in. Your host. And, I just wanted to say before I say anything else, Tradish! R8RBEAR Live! First comment, MVP tonight on YouTube goes to my double belt wearing champion of the world, Mark Vargas. You 5-emoji naked son of a gun. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. But Mark, I might have to put up your middleweight title to John the Lion Leon, because he's stepping up into that second place role and filling that, that spot up, and if he keeps being consistent like this, I'm going to have to ask you to vacate the silverweight belt. Silverweight belt? Never mind. John the Lion Leon, always dropping L's, but never taking losses. It's all about the legacy. John the Lion Leon. Third place, my bronze medal goes to a veteran of this show who knows how to take that bronze medal and strut down the street like nobody's business. Ramiro! Woo! Cash flow! Patent pending. Castro! And if that brother of yours is over there, let me just look into my camera here for just a moment and tell that slippery son of a... God dog it. I've had enough. That's it. No more electronics tonight. Everything's coming right from the noodle. No more tech. I'm teched out. Mr. Castro, I'm watching you. Honorable mention to Hoof, Big Dog. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Facebook. Monetized by Facebook. That's my peoples. I love you guys. First place, gold medalist. Numero uno el jefe. And a stranger to no one at this position, Carlos Boykins. Woo! Oh, you got me on a good night, man. That was a pretty good one, right? I know. Gave you goosebumps. It's no problem. Second place, my silver medal goes to... An up-and-coming contender has stepped in between the very real beef. Yes. Between Carlos Boykins, our heavyweight champion, and my silver middleweight champion, LP, Luckeye Pace, the man, okay? That sultry sounding son of a gun, always in second place, right? Well, not tonight. My new man in charge of security, handsome Joe Holman. Joe, what are you doing up here? Third place, my bronze medal goes to the aforementioned Lucky Pace. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Honorable mention to Mike Hendu Henderson and Corinna True. Hello! The only person whose name I answer with a bell all the time because she loved me and I love her. Yeah, that's right. Don't start rumors. It's not that kind of love. It's brother-sister kind of love. Don't start rumors. All right, so let's get it going. Get it cracking. We suck. Season's over. I'm out of here. Guys, come on. Guys, come on. Stop it. Stop it. No, and ladies too, you Raiderettes have been getting saucy lately, okay? Calm it the helleth down. Okay, first and foremost, this Sunday we play the Bears, or as they say in Chicago, the Bears. Okay, like they're all tarded and they ride on the yellow bus. The Bears. Like that's a good thing to sound like that. Duh. They do know that means dunce, right? I thought everybody knew that. The Bears. Anyway, we played those. I'm not going to say it again. And we're at home. So, you know, I give us all the advantage. I don't care what they've been doing. I do not care what they've been doing. I know that the Bears had a nice little game. The only reason why everyone's excited about that last game is because it's one of the very extremely rare moments when they actually played fairly well. And let us not forget, they were playing against the husk. Okay? The bony remains, like a picked over dinosaur laying on the ground, okay? That is the Dallas Cowboys. Except it wasn't picked over. It was like the meat rotted away and it's just decaying slowly. All the while it's decaying, going, roar, I'm still the best football team, America's team, roar, roar, roar. Put futz in him. Didn't know you were going to get puppies tonight, did you? Sorry, I had a good day, okay? You're all at the mercy of how happy I am right now. So I'm sorry. But anyway, I'm going to give you guys just a quick synopsis. And I'm going to try to fix everything for you guys tonight. I think that I can explain something that will make sense to you. And I think that we will see this. I just don't think we'll see it right away. Like, for example, if you wanted to test how our offensive line is playing, you might just go ahead and start the same guys you started in this last game, just to see if, hey, was it more Washington and just Washington had a great game? Or can that collection of 5-6 guys, rotating in at the tight end, you son of a, my tech, I hate tech tonight. I can't tech tonight. Tech is probably the only thing screwing with my mood. Putting foots in my tech. But we'll go on to that in a minute. But first, some other stuff we have to talk about. And I want to answer your questions and so on and so forth. But I promise we'll get to football right away. And we're going to talk about what I think is something very important that could fix the problem almost immediately. Most of the problems we have right now almost immediately. Stephen Shaw, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Stephen and Corinna, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even say this out loud. It's almost embarrassing for me to say I have something on the way in the mail, but I have something on the way in the mail. And I realized it was like 6 birthdays ago for you. You've been waiting for me for so long, and I apologize. Now, having said that, that has nothing to do with the Raider Bear Family Store. If you check us out, we have a Raider Bear Family Store right here on Raider Bear Family page. It's also on my personal page, Raider Bear or Joseph Bear. And if those of you who are friends with me, come on, check it out. But basically, it's all the same things you would buy from Raider Image or any other Raider store. It's just you're doing it through my store because I'm taking a lot of the unique stuff, especially some of the stuff that's discounted, so on and so forth. And you find little deals and you can get stuff without having to stay up on the Image page all the time. You can just come in, peruse my page real quick, see if you see things you like, and then bounce. And the reason why is because I'm dropping new things all the time. At least twice a week, I'll drop 5 to 15 anywhere of different new stuff. Sometimes I'll take stuff off and put some other stuff on and so on and so forth. So check it out. Chris Strong, what's up? Welcome to the show. Diagnosis in a nutshell. I would say that our offensive line sucks, but that would imply that we have one and we don't. Okay, Joe, you know what? Let's just do it. I was going to talk about the schedule we have in front of us a little bit and then talk a little bit about the game review. But instead of that, let's just go into the offensive line. Okay, so obviously we got back Colton Miller. He's looking pretty good. A little shaky for him, but that's because, he's getting back into shape coming off of the injury he had and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so we're fine there. Okay, left guard. Now we have Dylan Parham at left guard because we wanted to put someone else at right guard for a little while there. And for a little while there, it was Thayer Mumford and DJ Glaze. And, we were doing all kinds of experiments there. Then Jordan Meredith took a lot of snaps at right guard while we had JPJ in 2024 playing center, the job he lost. And he lost that job, I think, in part because he's having trouble getting both calling out the protections on the line and understanding how to say that, when to do it, and how fast it takes. And more importantly, also assimilating the offense. So if the quarterback audibles, he knows what's up and how it could affect where they're blitzing and who the mic is. It's geometry, not basic math. And JPJ came out of basic math. And that's how they send these kids up in college nowadays. They don't teach them. They just let them go out there and play like they did in high school. And then they form them around a college offense and defense, and that's it. But they don't teach them. So when they get to the NFL level and they need to look at a cover 2 shell and understand what that is, you know what I mean? If a guy does a silent low and drag, and they do that in a defense, and then they whip that into a prevent or a dime defense, all of a sudden, he has to be able to see that and understand what's coming at him. Are they rushing 4? Are 2 of them dropping back and they, are sneaking safeties up there? He's got to see all those things, and he's struggling with it. But I have an interesting stat for you. Now, in 2024, I have all of the Jackson Powers Johnson's snaps. Now, at center, he took 421 snaps at center. Okay, so a pretty significant amount. But he also took 506 snaps at left guard. And did you notice when he was playing left guard, you didn't really hear much of anything other than that he was pretty good. You know what I mean? Because he was having a lot of success. He was right next to Colton Miller. Him and Colton Miller had solid communication, and they were raking fools. Okay, so now fast forward, Pete Carroll gets hired. He doesn't care what Jackson Powers Johnson was doing whenever he was doing it. He wants him to do what he wants him to do now. Okay, so now let me give you one more thing. So quickly, at center, JPJ, 421 snaps. At left guard, 506 snaps. And at right guard, 29. that sound a little different? Remember when you were a kid, which one of these is not the same? Okay, so 421 at center, 506 at left guard, and 29 at right guard. Now, most of you already know what I'm saying, but for those of you who don't know what I'm saying, let me explain briefly. When you play left guard or you play right guard, they are completely different in which shoulders you turn to face outwardly with. So if I'm playing right guard, my right shoulder is back. If I'm playing left guard, my left shoulder is back. That means my balance on my legs is different as well. And see, so there are quite a few guys, they're not comfortable with having their right leg back. They want to have their left leg back. They feel more powerful with their balance and everything. Maybe they kick left-footed, who knows? But the point is that when they play that side, they feel more comfortable. That's the only explanation for these numbers. 400, 500, 29. You see what I'm saying? And where do we have him at? 29. The place where he got the least amount of snaps last year. And we're wondering why he's struggling. It's just, it's different. You know what I mean? It just is. And I'm telling you, anyone that knows about offensive linemen or ever played the position, I'm telling you, they will tell you 1,000,000% that I'm correct, that you can't just expect a guy to be comfortable at right guard the same way he is at left guard. Now, it does happen. You have lots of guys that can do it, that can play both and play them at a high level. But you have a lot of other guys, too, that are specialists where they just play right guard or right tackle because they simply cannot open their chest and have their left shoulder back. They're just not comfortable with it. And their balance is different. The way you run backwards is different. Everything's different. It sounds crazy, but I'm telling you, it's not. It really isn't. There's a whole kind of difference to it. Okay, now, so having said that, all we have to do is move JPJ back to left guard, put Dylan Parham back at right guard, where, let's not forget, he already played and played really well. We moved him to left guard out of necessity for the right side because we knew he would shore up the left with Colton Miller. Well, we can still do that with JPJ, put Dylan Parham at right guard. Then at center, you've already got Meredith. And yes, he butt fumbled. I don't care. Okay. You guys have to understand it's a new offense. And even though you hear all of us saying that, it's new players. That's different chemistry. Okay. It's new players mixed with old players who may be a little bit judgmental behind the scenes and off camera. Maybe all the guys don't get along exactly, alike, because maybe Max Crosby doesn't like one of the rookies on the defensive line or something like that. Who knows? You know what I mean? But those things are there. And so I'm hoping that they just do the logical thing. You had JPJ at left guard for 506 snaps. Just put him back at left guard, put Dylan back at right guard, let Jordan Meredith keep playing it at center. That way you get Alex Kappa off the field because Alex Kappa is just not good. Okay. I mean, well, it's not that he's not good, but he's a little bit on the side of washed. And then at right tackle, I don't know. I don't know. DJ Glaze is still, he kind of won the job, but he seems like he's still growing. You know what I mean? So we may have to deal with his growing pains, continued growing pains this year. And no one is allowed to ask a question about Kuntz. No one. Okay. No one. Do not ask me a question about Malcolm Kuntz. Get him out of here. I feel like an owner of a nightclub and I'm talking to all my bartenders. Get that guy and get him out of here. Bartenders, I mean bouncers. I'm so sick of that guy. So sick of that guy. I'll be at the game this Sunday. I expect a dub. Well, Tom, honestly, I do too. I think the Bears are phony. I really do. I think the Bears are probably arguably right there with the Falcons for worst team in football. It's close. The Titans are pretty bad. The Texans are pretty bad right now. They have young people, young players, young quarterbacks, and they're getting figured out. And you're going into their sophomore season, and the dreaded sophomore slump, and it's happening to a lot of them significantly. And by the way, I don't want to hear any more panic about Ashton Jeanty. Just stop it. Okay. There's no such thing as a running back that can just find holes and get yards on his own. Okay. Bo Jackson can't play anymore. He was the only human being that could do that. I will move my feet faster than other humans and go wherever I choose. Oh, I'm quoting him. He said that. Hi, Peggy. Shut up, Peggy. Okay? You stupid Steelers. I'm so sick of it. I'm done with it. The stupid Steelers and their stupid towels and their stupid luck. What's up? That's my guy right there. Shane, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show again. That guy's blessed, just like me. Beautiful wife, beautiful kids. That guy's lived life. Jesse Parker, my fashion designer. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Hey, that has been hotel shirt you got for my daughter. I can't thank you enough, bro. I literally love it. And she literally loves it. She wears it constantly. I know I'll probably be bothering you soon to make her another one because she wears it constantly. Most real and honest show in sports. Chris Strong, much love to you, brother. I really appreciate that. I don't sugarcoat things. I don't. If we're starting to suck and I think things are going wrong, if I see things, happening, I'm going to say it. You know what I mean? And I had optimism about this season. I did predict somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 wins. I do believe that's still a possibility. I don't care about these 3 games. I don't. I honestly, to me, you evaluate a team that's had this much change at the midpoint of the season. And that's more like week 8. You know what I mean? So week 7, week 8, you know what I mean? And so, well, week 7, week 7, week 8, somewhere in there, you kind of reevaluate. Now, we have to also look into the fact that no team is flying for more miles than us right now. In fact, no, I think there was only 2 teams that had a worse lack of rest percentage than us. We have the 3rd worst rest percentage of any team in the NFL. For example, when we play our next game against the Bears at home, we then immediately are out to the hot Indianapolis Colts, who I hope keep winning. I hate it when a team that's on a roll loses, and then you're the next team coming in and they want to get themselves right. So they play like hungry sharks and we're walking into the building. So but I don't honestly, I'm not afraid of the Colts. I think the Colts are the same thing that you're seeing like with the Giants right now. They got a little bit lucky. Part of it was who they're playing, things like that. Okay, so we get the Bears at home. I'm predicting a win for sure on that one. I just believe that they'll make the adjustment on the offensive line. The reason I'm so confident about that, I won't lie to you, it's been discussed in the press. That's all I can say. I don't really, because I can't quote who the reporter was, but I know that there are reporters or a reporter that has stood in front of Pete Carroll and said, what are you going to do with the line? Are you just going to shuffle, the chairs on the Titanic? And the answer was yes. I'm not going to keep watching the ship go down. No matter what I have to do, I'm going to move somebody and try to get more productivity, even if that means giving someone a shot. And personally, Stone Forsythe, the huge offensive lineman he brought in from his old team, the Seattle Seahawks, I would love to see him come in. I would love that. I mean, you could just literally just bench JPJ, put him at right guard, and then just let them roll. And then if the right tackle still struggles, then bring Stone Forsythe in there. Stone Forsythe, 6'6", 700, listen to me. 6'6", 270. Yeah, that's where I got the 7 from. 278, if I'm not mistaken. 6'6", 278. Just a big monster, but he's lean around the gut. And so it's like he's got that big Shaq basketball player kind of body. So he moves, he's got good feet, he's fast. I think he'd be really good for us at right tackle. He has a lot of experience at right tackle, right guard, and left guard. He plays a lot. The only position I saw he hadn't played was center, and we don't really need help there. Okay, so win against the Bears at home. We go on the road to the Colts, and we win at Lucas Oil Stadium. Then we come back and we get another cupcake, the Tennessee Titans. Because see, the Tennessee Titans are in total transition. They're playing bad football. So that to me is week 6. That's a yardstick. If we beat the Bears and beat the Colts, then there's no excuse to not get the Titans. But if we beat the Bears, lose to the Colts, now you have to wonder which team's going to show up, the team that beat the Bears or the team that lost to the Colts. You see what I'm saying? And so I don't see it in reverse. Like, for example, I don't see the Bears beating us and then we go on the road, beat the Colts, and then come home and you've got the Tennessee Titans. You know, to me, because I think the Titans are a cupcake. I think that's a walkover. If we really show up and play, that's a walkover. And then you've got week 7 and we go right back on the road again. So look at that. It's just torture. Home for the Bears, road for the Colts, home for the Titans, and then on the road again to stupid Arrowhead Stadium and the stupid Chiefs. Then we get our bye week in week 8. And so there, week 8 to me is where we can kind of evaluate things. Because if we were to lose to the Chiefs, but win these next 3 games, beat the Bears, beat the Colts, beat the Titans, and then maybe get into a barn burner with the Chiefs and somehow they hold on and get 2 field goals and win 37-31, you know, that kind of thing. If that's the case, I'm proud of the team. I can see, you know, light at the end of the tunnel and maybe something happens here. Because when we come out of the bye, we're at home against the terrible Jaguars. And then after that, we go on the road, but it's against the Denver Broncos, who right now, the Denver Broncos look bad right now. Bo Nix is starting to get exposed. He tends to overthrow the ball when he throws. And, you know, when he gets excited and he has to make a throw, he tends to overthrow. And I went to a Denver Broncos fan page, I swear, and the fan page said Boverthrow. They call Bo Nix's overthrows Boverthrows. Just totally clowning their own quarterback. I'm like, oh, that's classy. Gonzalez, H. Gonzalez 575. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. John Rogers Jr., how you doing, man? Ellis Irving always there for Raider Bear. Appreciate you. John Rogers Jr., yes, it could be a deal. Go Cubs, John Rogers Jr. Did you see it? Cubbies. I really just got it for the bear on the front. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a Cubs fan at all. I'm a Oakland A's fan. But yeah, the hat was just, it's too perfect. Brown and it's a bear. I had to have it. Carlos. Bear Pete Carroll refuses to check his son about the O-line, and it's still a poop show. This weekend, the season will be over. Carlos, as you could tell by what I've been saying, I don't agree with that. I do think they're going to make an adjustment. I do think the adjustment will be made. I don't think they'll make a big deal about whether it was Pete's son or Pete or not. And personally, I don't care. And then more importantly, I'm going to say something that I don't think anyone's going to agree with me, but I'm still going to hold on to this. I don't think that Pete Carroll's the kind of coach that would let us continue to lose as a result of his son. I don't believe that. I believe that there are men who believe that you're hurting your son, not helping him by trying to help him hide his deficiencies and his inability to fix the situation, and then go on the podium in front of the press after every loss saying it's this, and we'll get it under control. If it's him and Pete believes it's him, he'll make moves. I believe that. I don't care if it's his son. I really don't. Corinna Trujillo, I love that. When I'm asked how many siblings I have, I answer 2 biological and a lot of Raider brothers. I'm Raiders! And still not a Geno fan. Carlos, I'm not ready to go as far as saying Geno fan, but I am willing to go as far as saying I do trust that he can get the job done. I do believe that. I saw what he did in 2 out of the 3 seasons that he was there in Seattle, and he was good. He really was. If you give him a line, the mistakes are happening because that's what happens to every quarterback. If you get pressure on them significantly and play after play, if every third play is running for his life, I mean, why are we putting that on Geno? That's the line. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, and then Ashton Ginty not finding all the holes, not getting off to a great start. The line, you know what I mean? That's not making any excuses, because if it was, I'm throwing the line under the bus. And it's just the truth. I think the adjustment is right there. Just move the guys. Like I said, I won't keep repeating it because you guys heard what I said, but move the guys like I suggested. And then you really only have to deal with right tackle and shore that up. I mean, shore it up. Okay. And what that means is if someone there isn't getting it done, get them out of here. Malcolm Kuntz. I'd rather get rid of that guy, get some UDFA defensive end bum off the street and put him there. What difference does it make if Kuntz is doing nothing or that guy's doing nothing for a whole lot less money? I've had enough with him. Gabriel, what's up, brother? Hey, Bear, what in the heck? What is going on with the Raiders? I kind of already answered all that. But I'll be honest with you. To give you a little bit, I would say it's a product of us as fans being super excited about what we see on paper and then hearing about Pete Carroll's, pretty solid record of 10-win season, 10-win season, 10-win season over and over and over again. A couple of those were with Gino. He felt like he was going to bring it right here, and we felt like he was going to bring it right here, but you can't underestimate the effect of change, chemistry, guys getting to learn each other, stay healthy. Jeremy Chin, for example, have we really seen Jeremy Chin like all over the field making plays? He's made a play here and there, but for the most part, no. And it's not because he can't play. He's learning our system and where to be and what to do. They'll get it together. It's week 3. Chin check. Do you think we go and try out CJ Gardner? No, I think that's panic. Meredith's looking like he doesn't know how to call out protections. That could be true, Sean Scott. I'll be honest with you. I love your profile picture. That is bad, awesome. Bad donkey, badass. Yeah, because that's me. California, Raider Bear. I love that, brother. Your image on your profile is so dope. It distracted me out of what I was saying. But yeah, I think that might be part of the problem. In other words, I think Meredith can call out the protections, but I think we're still going through his learning curves of when he actually makes mistakes during that. In other words, just because we say we know he can play the position and he's good, that doesn't mean he's not going to make mistakes. He's a new guy at a new position. Holy, that's the difference, brother. JPJ has to learn everything and your footwork is completely different. Exactly. Marvin Suarez, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Looking sharp. I like that. The Raiders were a show in the most major way. Hell of embarrassing. Well, you had a combination of an offensive line that's looking to get their chemistry right and a pretty decent, big defensive line in the Redskins. Back-to-back weekends against big defensive lines because the Chargers have a big defensive line. John says, do you think that Pete Carroll's son is to blame for our O-line and switching them up? I don't like to go to the word blame, John, only because if he's a strategist and a teacher and a coach, and he thinks I want to move the guys this way because I think that will make us perform better, he might just be wrong. He made a mistake. Maybe he just felt like that would lead to greater chemistry. And is 3 weeks really enough time to know if what he's doing is working or not? When we have to remember, we opened the season against the Patriots and put it on them. And by the way, didn't anyone else notice that in that game that we just lost, that everyone's mad about, that Tucker gave us 3 touchdowns? He had like a coming out party. Now we get Brock back full, health. Dante Thornton learning and getting better as the season moves on. Give it till our bye week. When we get to week 7 and week 8, I will look into the screen and say, we suck or we're doing it. You know what I mean? But I'm not ready to say anything good or bad right now. John, if you were going to fire anyone right now, I would say it would have to be the offensive line coach because, they don't want to go to head coaches. He doesn't want to go right to his son because then that comes off like a scapegoat, like it has nothing to do with the chemistry or the players on the field. And we know it does. So to me, you got to give a guy like that more of an opportunity to figure out if that's, excuse me, I got the hiccups all of a sudden out of nowhere, if that's what it really is. Kenny Blair! Kenny, I appreciate the love on the stars all the way from the land of whiskey and crumpets. And by the way, Kenny, you stay safe out there. I had no idea how violent London was. Wow. You guys were at one point like the murder capital of the world. London was crazy, man. It was crazy. They're like, whoop, there's another death. 5 more minutes. Whoop, there's another death. It's like, what's going on over there? I'm kidding. Obviously, that was a long time ago. So why did Coach Pete switch the guards around? Tim, I think that Coach Pete made a decision and it's looking like it may have been wrong. I think that the offense, for the most part, when we had our offensive line kicking and they worked well on plays, we were finding Tucker for touchdowns. So see, I feel like with Dante Thornton, I got an itch all of a sudden. What's going on with me? Dante Thornton will get better. Tucker will continue to ascend. Get both our tight ends back, not just 1 and 1.5, or 1.5 of 1, I should say. Steven Shaw. Appreciate the love on the stars, brother. And remember, stars contributed to the show go directly to charities that we work with all over the world, and for equipment and apps and stuff that I have to pay for monthly for this awesome show that I do. And everyone, say hello to my first supporter ever. Anna Diaz Rincon, what's up, love? Welcome to the show. I'm still holding my faith. Yes, it's a new offense, but had at least show some effort this last game. I think more of that was thinking, you know what I mean? In other words, like when you're training a new employee at work, they go slow because they're thinking so much. Oh, what was it that Bear told me to do? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I hit L1, then hit B, then hit R2. Then hit, you know what I mean? And they're going through their mind, trying to memorize a new job. So they just go slower. I think there's some of that going on. I think Ashton Genty, for example, you know, is a baby cutting his teeth at the NFL level on an offensive line that's, you know, having some turmoil, to put it nicely. Hey, Bear, why don't they hire Tom Cable? The guy could make the O-line look good with his techniques. Antonio Magdaleno, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Well, one, we've already hired and fired him and hired and fired him already. So we had him back, fired him. So he's been hired twice. He's been fired twice. I doubt that's something he'd want to go for a spin for a third time. Mark Davis would remember him. I don't think that Mark would go down for that. And then more importantly, I'm not even sure where he's at, but if he's not in the NFL, I'm positive he's probably at some school somewhere. Head coaching or assistant head coaching or defensive head coach or something like that somewhere. He was a lifer. He was never going to quit. He talked about it. John, Genty may have not been Bo, but we should have never took him so high. We should have traded back. I don't think 3 weeks is enough time, John, to change your analysis that much. That's too much. I want to give him time. Okay. If he breaks out in these next 3 games, and averages, let's say, 88 to 95 yards a carry for these next 3 games, should we say he was a bad choice then? You know what I mean? Because he's probably leading us to wins, getting us first downs, moving the chains, dominating time of possession, giving our defense an opportunity to rest, which we hadn't been doing, you know, and we just got to get those things on the right page. I don't think this has to do with personnel. I think it has to do with the system around that personnel, and the personnel has to absorb that system. When they do, I think we'll be okay. John Rogers Jr. and Bear We Trust. That's my guy right there. Luke Masterson was in the building today for a tryout. Jesse, I'm not surprised by that, only because 1, I'd heard about it, but 2, Luke was playing all right for us. I felt like he was growing, and then it seemed like they gave up on him and then went to Eichenberg. Now, Eichenberg's been good, but not necessarily better. You know what I mean? I would argue that Masterson would have brought us a little bit better play than even Eichenberg has brought us thus far, which has been, you know, not bad. Eichenberg's been not bad. You know what I mean? Solid tackler, doesn't miss too many tackles. Not the fastest guy left to right. Doesn't shed really fast because he's not the base linebacker. But he's played well. But do I think Luke Masterson can outplay him? Yeah, because he has better hands. If the ball's in the air and there's an opportunity to play on the ball in the air, Masterson will come down with the ball. He proved that for us his last 2 seasons he was with us. Next up is Chicago. Honestly, Bear, this should be our wake-up game, even though we lose to ourselves when we play Chicago all the time. Pete Vasquez, I get what you're saying, but I do feel like the Bears are just the Bears. I don't see them as real. I don't see Caleb really as real yet. He struggles to read defenses. If you really look at Caleb Williams, he's starting to play the Johnny football kind of thing where he goes, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. And he doesn't. And what he does is he calls the play, snaps the ball, and then looks around and goes, oh, okay, he's going to run a 7. He's going to run a post. He's going to run a hook. Okay, and then he just figures it out, scrambles around and throws the ball. You can't sustain that. You can't sustain that because on 5 plays, you're going to get maybe 1, maybe 2, plays that you complete. And the only reason they did that was because it was Dallas. And by the way, the play action bomb that he threw down the sidelines that everyone went crazy about, the Dallas defender literally fell down on the ground. He went into his back pedal and went, whoa, and literally went right to the ground. And the wide receiver just ran right by him. So Caleb Williams was looking at a completely wide open receiver just streaking down the field. I mean, anyone could have thrown that ball. You, me, Corinna, anyone could have thrown that ball. And so I feel like we could smash the Bears. I really do. I feel like we could smash the Bears. And it's not just because it's the Bears. I think that this team is pissed off. They're looking around the room at each other and they're seeing talent. They're seeing a team that has talent. There is absolutely no doubt about that. But it's not performing. I would argue, even Tyree Wilson, who I hated coming out of school. I hated that we drafted him. I hated where we drafted him. I hated everything about it. But I would still give him an opportunity, move him inside, and hope he can help us do something against this run game that we struggle way too much with. Steven Shaw! Appreciate the love on the stars. And remember, guys, consider a subscription to R8RBEAR family page. Now on YouTube, you just hit subscribe right down there and then hit that like button to help me with the algorithm, which is just a big fancy word that means the computer in YouTube sees me and puts me out there more. That meant out there more. So get me out there more. Share, like, now, do it. Armando Medrano, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Oh, and to all new people that are here, I really am like this. Ask any one of my norms. Is that what the kids say, norms now? They shorten everything. Like if it's suspicious, it's sus. Yeah. I'm not trying to pretend I know how kids talk today. I don't. Joseph Bear, we need you to go to Vegas for one of their practices. Put butts in them as a motivational speech. Honestly, Jesse, I fear that if I did, I'd probably get kicked out. Because I would say to him, man, look, man, if you guys had half as much intensity as this fan base over here, you'd be Super Bowl champions a couple times over already. Instead, I've seen a lot of you guys coming out here and pancaking. You know what I mean? If you aren't here to hustle and play hard and kill folks, theoretically, not literally. Gingy's looking closer and closer to Trent Richardson 2.0. Lucky, you're not the first person to say it. I was. I guess I'm not kidding because I did kind of say it, but yeah, it's getting concerning because I'm seeing the exact same body, the exact same hair and appearance, the same muscular body that's a low frame and that has sight adjustment issues where he doesn't read gaps well. You know what I mean? He sees ghosts. He just sees bodies moving and he thinks a gap is full and it's not. And then he tries to bump it outside where it's not open and vice versa. Sometimes he comes back inside when he should jump it outside. But his route recognition is high school. You know what I mean? At Boise, he was at Boise State for everyone that's watching. But when he was at Boise State, they weren't raising a running back. They just put him out there and he did his thing. You know what I mean? And the Raiders have to figure out a way to do that. We've got to super dummy down what he's supposed to do and make sure he understands it to the point where he gets bored with it. You're going to get to run 4 plays. We're going to run you to that gap or that edge or that gap or that edge on every play. so that you will have it mastered. Where are you going to go to the edge or inside, or are you going to go to the edge, out, or inside? And you're going to master that. And you're going to understand that backwards and forwards. And we're not going to even allow you to run other routes until you get that. You know what I mean? Let them see it, see what it looks like, and run it. It's not a Gino or a Ginty problem. These problems are falling 100% on the O-line. Sean Scott, bravo, brother. Not only do I agree with that, but I think that people don't put enough importance on what we're talking about. And to be quite honest with you, it's not just the offensive line. We're talking about the offensive line. Look what the defensive line is doing. We're giving up these long burst runs. Guys are finding one gap, cutting, and gone. You know what I mean? On a team that hadn't been doing that against anybody but us. Now, see, now that was the warning sign. That was the flag that flew up. That's the flare that got fired, where everyone in the fan base has got to be like, hey, guys, we're not stopping the run at all. You want to talk about stopping defensive linemen and protecting our quarterback? Maybe we need to work on that, and maybe we need to work on our defensive line. Coons. Have you ever said a person or any word, a person's name or a word, with so much disgust in your voice it almost sounds like a foul word? Coons. I can do it. Jose Godoy, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Long time no see. Jose Godoy, the problem with moving JPJ to the center is he makes poor reads. And so if he's calling out the protections, even if that combination helps, then the problem will become the fact that he's making misreads. And then we'll still get pressures on the quarterback, you know, and you got to put the players at the position where they physically and mentally are the most sound. You can't do what his son did and just decide to move, you know, chairs and everything will be fine. I don't think that's accurate. You have to put the guy, JPJ, somewhere where he feels confident. He had 400 plus snaps at center, but he had 500 plus at left guard. Put him at left guard. Win the season. Then in the off season, work out what you want to do with him. You know what I mean? You can even trade him if he's getting paid too much for how he's playing and where he's playing. Yeah, John, I think that small adjustment we talked about earlier, though, will work. We just need to move him to left guard, move Parham to right guard. We didn't spend any money on the O-line in the off season or draft enough O-linemen. This is Spytek's fault. Well, it's part of that. I do think that. I think maybe that's in part because they prioritized other things over it. But, you know, where you signed Ginty, you could have been looking at defensive line help, offensive line help. You know, there's that. And then there are those that believe that we didn't need Ginty to be able to run the ball. We could have just gotten another competent back to come in and try to give us something. But did it have to be the most expensive, you know, guy in the league? I don't know. Thanks, California. Carl Farrell is my COD account, and I asked ChatGPT to create an image for me, and that's what I got. Oh, right on. I like that, bro. Well, I won't steal it. We need to be more explosive in the first half. We have great, fast, athletic players, or is it Raider football? Well, Pete Vasquez, and I appreciate the great questions. Remember what we did against New England. It's that. We had explosive plays. In fact, if I remember correctly, the stat that stands out to me the most is that we had 10 or more plays that went for 15 yards or more. Well, that's your explosive plays. Anytime you're getting chunks of 15 yards 10 times in one or more in one game, you know, you're giving them the business. John, I don't think young Al Davis would have fired someone in week 3. Maybe old Al Davis, but not young Al Davis. Squirrel nuts. Inside joke. My older viewers will know that. Joe Holman will not. Yeah, no, John, I know exactly what you meant. I know you, brother. I got nothing bad to say about Ginty. Very few. Yeah, John wasn't saying anything bad about him either. He's just saying we paid too much. Can run very well if they don't have a line in front of them. Exactly. I wish I understood why coach doesn't have the quarterback throw the darn ball. Well, they're letting him throw the ball, but you have to have time to throw it. And like I was saying, Geno's not the kind of quarterback that's just going to sit down and take it. And for as many guys that have already come out and said, I don't like Geno, I would say to them, why? Any quarterback could have made these mistakes, but at least you're seeing something that we never saw from Derek Carr. He goes down fighting. He doesn't just go down, cover the ball, and pray he doesn't get injured while he's tackled. He fights and sometimes throws crazy throws between three guys and sometimes gets them there. The guy's talented, and if we give him a line, he'll prove it. I'm telling you. Take it and make it yours. Sean Scott, what's up? I like that. Take it and make it yours. Aw, that's my man. Appreciate that, brother. I really do. Appreciate that. I would even consider making that a patch. That's a cool image. I never would have thought to hide it in half of the bear's body. I always like the bear to be really visible. I have a logo that a guy worked for me. I never used it, but it was pretty cool. It had that old school microphone that would have the chrome bars in it like this, like the microphones from the 30s where guys would hold it like with their whole fist and go, yada, nada, nada, while they're singing. And it had a bear holding one of those, and it was yelling into the microphone like I do. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I don't know. I forget now exactly why I never went with it, but it was a complication of somehow. I think it was the guy that was making the patch. It looked kind of, I didn't like the quality. Mark, the family's doing really good. They're messing with my schedule. That's why my show, sometimes I just miss a show sometimes without warning because I have to cover things for the family. But it's not a big deal. It's not emergencies. It's usually just rides places, pick them up somewhere, that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mark, they do need to fix the offensive line, but I do think it's a simple fix. When you have a guy that's struggling, put him back where he has the most snaps. JPJ had 500 snaps at left guard. Just put him back at left guard. Mark Vargas, it's warm. When you go to bed at night, honestly, it's still in the 90s. I got up at 3 or 4 in the morning the other night just because I heard something. So I went to go see what it was, and it was nothing. And my alarm system was on and everything. But it was like 3 in the morning. I heard something loud. I came out and looked, and it was nothing. And then I asked the Alexa, I said, what's the weather in Buckeye, Arizona right now? And it was 92 at like 3 in the morning. Jet black outside and hot still. I couldn't believe it. Sean Scott, I appreciate the love. I already actually have a patch. I just, of course, I don't have one in front of me. I'm sending, Corinna, I'm sending you another patch. I'm sending Sean and his lovely wife another patch. You guys some other stuff. Yeah. But yeah, Sean Scott, if I do it, absolutely. Keep watching my show so I don't forget you. And if that comes into play, I will let you know. And then I will absolutely send you one. We can't lose that nail polish wearing son of a mannequin and Caleb Williams this weekend on my freaking birthday Sunday. Need a new bear gift for my 48th. Ah, right on, Alpha and Omega. Right on. I got to work on that. You're right. No worries ever, Mark Vargas. I appreciate the love. Chip needs to get his head out of his shut your mouth and get his offense rolling or go back to Ohio State. What the hell is a Buckeye? Said by a Notre Dame guy. Let's see. It's 96 here in San Jose. Wow. Damn. Vargas, even though, Mark, I would have rather you were still in Arizona so we could have hung out. I regret that we never got to hang out. But I like San Jose. I always like San Jose. I love the flea market out there, that gigantic one they have. I've been to that 100 times. I have friends out that way. Yeah, I love San Jose. Great town. I'm tired of players who don't put name on what they say to media, and Geno is good when he put good O-line and the best quarterback we had for a long time. Troy Gill, well said. Appreciate you even showing up late. What the hell are you doing so late? What's up, Troy? Welcome to the show. Troy Gill's my guy. He's always there. Nate Ramos, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Oh, I like that pit picture. Ah, look at the love. Always watch your show, brother. Best sports show out there. I'll give some love to that. R8RBEAR! Hey, and don't forget, I'm on Patreon. You guys got to check me out. I'm on Patreon if you want to support the show and you want to keep it down on the low, a little cheaper, you know, not give percentages of my money to Facebook. You want to do something like that, you go over to Patreon and check me out. I'm on there as R8RBEAR, and I think it'll come up as both R8RBEAR or R8RBEAR family page. Just check me out. Support the show if you can. We're doing big things, and we appreciate you all for doing it. Much, much, much love. But in all seriousness, guys, I think the best thing I can say to you is that if you were wondering if we're going to make a move and we're not going to just sit here, we're not going to just sit here. If this continues, Pete will make a move. And when I say make a move, he'll cut someone and he'll sign someone. Even if it's just to shake up the locker room and say, hey, guys, I'm not going to tolerate losing. So if I have to find someone that's better than you at your position that understands this offense and can get us rolling, that's what I'm going to do. But you see this happy-go-lucky grandpa face? I love you guys. I don't want to do that. I'm Pete freaking Carroll. Everybody loves me, okay? Grandpa vibe. Huggable. Grandpa vibe. But I tell you like it is. And that's why he gets away with it, because he's got huggable grandpa vibe. I don't understand why these hand gestures become, visual symbols for things like this, but it's sort of a grandpa thing. Let's see. PG needs to stop running that base defense. Mariota lit us up because of it. Whenever he does that, Alpha, it's him saying he has to for a reason. I'm not saying it's all personnel, but something's going on. Sometimes it's an injury and he just doesn't feel as confident with certain calls, and so he's not going to make them. Howdy from SoCal, the legend, Mr. Bear. What's up, Mr. Joseph? Or is that Jace Joseph? I like that. Jace Joseph. I myself am a Joseph. Stephen Shaw, great show. Appreciate you, brother. Always there for R8RBEAR. Hi, Mrs. Shaw. Oh, and I love that profile picture. That looks great, brother. When is Little Cub working on her next book? Lil Cub! Abby! I got her picture right here. She couldn't believe it because I thought she was so cute. Wait a minute. I got to get it out of the light so you guys can see it. What? I'm not showing everyone in the world your picture. I wasn't doing that. I heard you shout my name. What are you talking about? Jesse Parker, your favorite fashion designer, wanted to know when you're going to write your #2 book or when it's coming out. Do you have any idea?
No set date yet, but there is one in the works.
Okay, plug your first book for everybody that's listening. Right here. Give it to them.
My first book, it's called Hiding Amongst Oneself. It's on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles for $10.99. It's pretty cheap, so it's a short read as well, a short story. So it's perfect for not little kids, but for like young adults, teens, younger teens, that sort of thing. So
nice. I like it. Yeah, don't tell them what it's about. Don't give it away. Raider Nation. Yeah. You can tell them. No. Raider Nation. I know. My daughter's not a shouter. No. I'm working on that. So when I go, Raiders, she looks at me and goes, Raiders. Thank you, Stephen Shaw. Hi, Mrs. Shaw. All right, guys, that is my shizzo. I gotta go though, because I got things to do. I didn't say shizzo just now because that sounds too much like Snoop Dogg, and he is a sellout, and I can't stand that guy. Did I just slip that in there? That's like rap politics. Yeah, I got some politics in there. That's right. That dirty Snoop Dogg senator. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force. Wait a minute. I've got a new viewer. He asked me a question. I didn't answer his question, so I am going to answer my new viewer's question. Here we go. Why was the offense coming out so soft, even though the O-line is weak? I noticed that there was no urgency at all. Was hoping we would see more, but hurry up just to get things going. Mr. Joseph, great comment, great question. Appreciate that. And I would say this to you. I am also an avid cyclist, and not the 10-speed stuff. I have a low rider. I like to go low and slow and look good. It's got beats and the stereo on it. It's ridiculous. Okay. So having said that, the real reason we saw that was because the adjustment was made. I don't think the players really liked it, but they went along with it. Whenever you're asked to do something at your job and you have to do it reluctantly, you never do it quite as well, even though you may be good at your job. And so I saw that. I feel like that was part of it. There was a reluctance to play at top tempo because some of the guys, I think, disagreed with the last minute adjustment on the offensive line the way they did. I think they will go back to the drawing board, so to speak. I think Pete and his son and the rest of the team will work this out, and there will be an adjustment. The difference between what we had, the difference between what we had before and what we have now is that we have a coach that's not going to mind making the adjustments, and he'll make the adjustments. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force, for all you do. The energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. Mr. Joseph, I expect a subscription. Get your butt in here. You can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe on Facebook, and I am on Patreon. Just pick one. Do the YouTube because that's free. But pick one of the other one. Help a brother out. I'm building an empire over here. By the way, Mr. Joseph, this is my 10th year anniversary. That's right. I keep it more than real. I keep it IRL. That's more young people talk. All right, I do talk like this generation. I do. Put butts in them. Stop worrying. It's week 3 for crying out Christmas biscuits. Give it a minute. That's my show. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. What? Peace.